Hello. I hope you had a great week and you're starting off with a great weekend. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for giving me a few minutes of your time. Today is day 6 in a 6-day series covering Dr. Torsten Slok, U.S. Housing Outlook report for March 2025. And it's been great. Today's final day. Today will be the shortest day. And what we're going to cover today is comparing slowdowns. And really, you can just rename this, how bad is it? How does this slowdown compare to previous slowdowns? How does our current condition, compare to other times there's housing recessions or slowdowns? And so we're going to look at quite a few interesting things here. We're also going to look at, just apartment supply, share of homes built for rent, which is really fascinating. Apartment vacancies, outstanding loan to value ratios for homes. We're going to cover some really good stuff, and we're going to do it really quick. This is the 6th day or final day. I hope you've enjoyed it. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to look at the final charts. We are on chart 106 of 123. That's right. We've covered 123 charts in 6 days, and it's been fantastic data. Data I hope you guys can use, in a lot of ways. Use it in your home buyer seminars, use it in your sales presentations, use it in your sales meetings, in builder meetings. This is great stuff. Now, this last one really is just how bad can it get? You can share that with whoever you want. So this first few slides are comparing the housing downturn during this downturn versus previous ones. The previous ones in 1974, 1979, 1980, 1988, 2005, and of course, the one started in 2021. And so you can see here the current decline in existing home sales is in line with previous housing slowdowns. The 2021 line, that's the one we're living, that is in red. So pretty typical. And then the current rise in mortgage rates is similar to what we saw during the Volcker disinflation. Once again, we're red. The Volcker disinflation was 1979. You can see he spiked interest rates much higher, but then they dropped very fast. We have not seen that fast drop. Next is the current decline in housing starts is a bit milder during previous slowdowns. And then once again, we're red, and this is easy to understand. Previous slowdowns didn't have quantitative easing going into the slowdown, meaning they didn't have 0% interest rates. They didn't have 2 and 3% mortgage rates, which created a lock-in effect. And so we've had a shortage of inventory that builders had to fill, and that's why housing starts are a bit milder than in previous housing slowdowns. Makes total sense. This next slide is probably the one we're going to like the most, but if you talk about how bad has it been, this is the fastest Fed-driven housing slowdown on record. Remember, we're red. That has to go with total unit sales. This has been very severe. For us in the housing industry, we've had a recession in our sector. Now, really, I guess it's okay because we had an absolute boom before this recession. And so, we had pulled demand forward, which helped create this slowdown afterwards. Meaning when interest rates were 2 and 3%, everybody rushed to refinance. Those refinances would have been done historically over time, but we pulled the demand forward, which dropped the amount of volume we could do post that artificial demand. And we've seen the result is that really slowed down, really slowed the amount of units we're doing. So that being said, let's move on. Next thing, apartment vacancies are now above pre-pandemic levels. And what that has to do with, as you'll see in the next slide, or in the slide coming up, there's just been a ton of new inventory added the last couple of years, which is why there's more vacancies. That's the only reason why. When the Fed raised interest rates, employment and retail trade declined. Things we know. U.S. apartment supply, this is what we're saying. We saw this really large increase the last 2 years in apartment supply, which is why there's more available units, but it's not out of whack. And as we know, fewer apartments are going to come to market over the next couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see how this chart looks. The share of homes built for rent going up. This is one of the most fascinating charts. That is the share of new homes that are being built to go straight to rent is approaching 10%. You can see how this is not a historic norm. This is a new phenomenon. And it's also why one of the reasons why people aren't moving as often. I mentioned that 35 or 36% of renters, 36% of renters have lived in their current rental for at least 5 years. 18% have lived in their current rental for at least 10 years. The sweet spot that renters do not move out of is a 3-bedroom single-family residence that they rent. They'll stay in there forever. And that's why you're seeing more houses are being built for rent, because that is just such a popular product. Loan applications remain low. Yep, we know that. Here, rising interest rates are putting downward pressure on mortgage purchase applications. We kind of see that. Mortgage applications fall as interest rates rise. Yep, this is a great chart. You can see the interest rate is the green line that's going up. The mortgage applications for purchases are the blue line going down. The light blue line is for purchase. The blue line is darker blue lines for refinances. Totally makes sense, but it's a really good visual. This kind of encapsulates what our life's been for the last 4 or 5 years pretty well indeed. Maybe get that framed and put it on your wall. Higher mortgage rates have pushed refinance activity down. Duh, we know that. This is just a visual. It's just all this is. When I say study the market, this is just telling you why you feel like you feel. That's all it is. It's validating you in a visual way. Loan to value ratio for U.S. mortgages. Important to know this is mark to market on home values and loans. And so this is where we're getting to the total aggregate loan to value in the United States based on home values is around 47%. So pretty low. By the way, the thing that's really important to understand, because that seems like it contradicts that. There's a number out that says that total aggregate home value in the United States is approaching $50 trillion, and of that 70% is equity. The difference between that 70% and this 47% you're seeing here is that this is only for homes that have mortgages. So if you take the 40% of homes that have no mortgages, the actual aggregate equity is 70%. And I hope I didn't confuse you on that. Median age of owner-occupied house is 40 years old. I think that's not the owner. I think it's the age of the house. Home ownership affordability at a national level, we know it's just strained right now. And here's Dr. Torsten Slok. And with that, I really want to invite you to track, if you like this at all, track Dr. Slok. He does great work. I have been doing a LinkedIn post every day on our series. You can check out my LinkedIn right there. I do a lengthy write-up. I do links to Dr. Torsten Slok. I also feature him in LinkedIn posts probably once or twice a week. I highly suggest you subscribe to the Daily Spark. It's fantastic. I will put a link to a high-res PDF of this outlook that we've covered all week. If you checked any of them out, I hope you got something from it. I hope you actually go out and use this material. You incorporate it into your presentations. You incorporate it into the financial literacy that you're teaching to our peers, our referral partners, and of course to our clients. Hopefully you got a lot of it. I appreciate it if you checked it out. With that, thanks so much. Have a great weekend. I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. Bye.